Welcome to another episode of Money, Mystery, and Madness. By the mid-2020s, the rivalry between 50 Cent and Sean Diddy Combs had moved far beyond diss tracks and Instagram jokes. What once looked like a loud but familiar hip-hop beef suddenly entered far more dangerous territory, one involving lawsuits, federal investigations, and a documentary that would ignite one of the most controversial debates in entertainment. This was no longer about music. This was about power, reputation, and who controls the story when an empire starts to crack. The turning point came when news broke that 50 Cent was attached as executive producer to a high-profile documentary examining the allegations surrounding Diddy's private life, business practices, and decades of rumors that had followed him throughout his career. The project, later announced for Netflix under the title Sean Combs: The Reckoning, promised to explore claims that many felt had been whispered about for years but never fully confronted in the mainstream. From the moment it was announced, it became clear this was not a neutral project. It was personal. Unlike traditional hip-hop documentaries that celebrate success or legacy, this one positioned itself as an exposé. Trailers and early descriptions suggested a mix of archival footage, interviews with former associates, industry insiders, and individuals making serious allegations. 50 Cent publicly framed the project as a way to let the truth speak, insisting it wasn't about revenge but accountability. Still, few people believed his long-running feud with Diddy wasn't a major factor. To many fans, this felt like the ultimate escalation, turning a decades-old rivalry into a global narrative broadcast to millions. Public reaction was immediate and deeply divided. Supporters of the documentary argued that powerful figures in entertainment had avoided scrutiny for far too long, and that the project could finally bring uncomfortable truths into the open. Others accused 50 Cent of weaponizing real allegations for personal satisfaction, calling the documentary biased before it even aired. Social media split into camps almost overnight, with hashtags trending both in defense of alleged victims and in support of Diddy's right to due process. The internet wasn't asking whether the feud had gone too far, it was asking whether this was justice or exploitation. Diddy's response was swift and aggressive. Through his legal team, he condemned the documentary, denying all wrongdoing and accusing its creators of spreading defamatory content. He reportedly claimed that certain footage and interviews were used without proper authorization, and that the project was designed to damage his reputation rather than present verified facts. While details of the legal strategy remained mostly behind closed doors, reports soon surfaced that Diddy was exploring or preparing legal action connected to the documentary and Netflix itself. Whether framed as a lawsuit or a broader legal challenge, the message was clear. This was a fight he wasn't backing away from. Netflix, meanwhile, stood firm. The platform emphasized that the documentary followed legal standards, that materials were lawfully obtained, and that the film fell under protected journalistic and expressive work. This put Netflix directly in the line of fire, transforming what could have been a personal dispute into a major free speech and media responsibility debate. Suddenly, the feud wasn't just between two hip-hop titans, it involved one of the largest streaming platforms in the world. What made this situation especially explosive was the timing. The documentary arrived as Diddy was already facing multiple legal challenges unrelated to the film, including civil lawsuits alleging misconduct. Though he denied these claims, the overlap created a perception problem that no amount of PR could fully control. For critics, the documentary felt like confirmation of long-standing suspicions. For defenders, it looked like a coordinated media pile-on fueled by an old enemy with too much influence. 50 Cent did little to calm the fire. Instead, he leaned into the chaos, posting cryptic messages, memes, and commentary that blurred the line between promotion and provocation. Each post reignited debate, keeping the documentary in headlines even when no new information emerged. Some praised his strategic brilliance, calling it a masterclass in narrative control. Others argued that his public behavior undermined the seriousness of the allegations and turned real issues into entertainment spectacle. The hip-hop community itself reacted with caution. Many artists stayed silent, aware that choosing sides could have long-term consequences. Others spoke indirectly, emphasizing the importance of truth while avoiding specific endorsements. Industry veterans pointed out that this moment reflected a larger shift in hip-hop, one where moguls were no longer untouchable and where media power could rival record sales in shaping legacy.
Part 2 of the story isn't about who won a rap beef. It's about who controls the narrative when the spotlight turns harsh, and whether truth can survive when personal history, business interests, and public spectacle collide. Regardless of how courts rule or how documentaries are remembered, this chapter has already reshaped how both men are viewed. And in hip-hop, legacy is everything. The feud isn't over. It has simply evolved into something far bigger, a battle not just for reputation, but for how history itself will be written. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of hip-hop's most explosive rivalries, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories, documentaries, and behind-the-scenes insights.